Hello, beautiful ones.
Hi, soul family, and we.
Hi, soul family,
Oh,
and hi, soul.
What is that?
it was just playing our voice back.
Hello, soul family. How's our voice? How's our voice? Hi, everybody. Is there any? Is everything good?
Can you guys hear us okay?
We have such an exciting topic today. I cannot
Sound is great.
wait to get
Perfect.
started. Amazing. Hello, Rose White. So lovely to be in connection with you. Hi, everybody.
I feel like so many new people are joining the vortex right now, and I see some familiar energies as well, and
Hi,
it's so beautiful.
Laura. Yes. Hi, Merlin. Hi, everybody. And how do you guys like my haircut? I finally
Right?
got my higher self haircut. I am so, and the best part about this is that just like my DJing career, which came out of nowhere, just like my singing bowls that came out of nowhere, it literally feels like Saman and I, but especially me, we're just following a script of what to do next, what to do next, and we're just walking our ascension path, and our guides are constantly showing us what we need to do, where we need to go, what's next. Like they showed me that DJing is a part of my timeline, otherwise I would have never learned it, and I became Rothschild. They showed me that crystal bowls is bringing back my ancient Atlantean Hathor priestess side, so I got singing bowls. Like it's like I'm literally the way I feel, and many of you can probably resonate. It literally feels like we are walking through life and the script is already written for us. But yes, we have free will, which is a huge component. But if we follow our guidance back to back to back, it's leading us, at least it's leading me, towards my ascension. I
Yeah.
literally feel 20, if not 30 years younger than I was when I was 30. Like I'm 44 now and I feel the youngest I've ever felt. I look the youngest I've ever looked. And what is causing all of this? What is causing all of this? It is my joy. It is my bliss. It is my peace. But above all, what it is, in addition to all of this, you know what it is? Our DNA is morphing. Our DNA is actually morphing. Our DNA is actually converting from carbon to crystalline. We are actually coming online. We are actually ascending. And many people think that ascension, like when the solar flash happens, many people think, oh, the solar flash will come and I'll just wake up and suddenly I'll be in my 30-year-old youthful body. But that's, I don't think, when I tune in with my heart, I don't think that's how it's going to happen. You know what I think, guys? I genuinely think the solar flash will come in as they have already been coming in back to back to back to back every week. Every other day is a mini solar flash, right? Every solar flash is actually moving us more and more and more towards our higher self, our youthful self, our powerful self, our fearless self, our abundant self, our fucking amazing self. Every solar flash is moving us one step closer. So it's not like we'll just magically one day become like in our youthful bodies. We have to work towards it. And I'm putting in the work. I am doing the work. And many of you who came to Tulum are already looking 5 years, if not more, younger. Why is that? Why is that? Welcome, everybody. We have such an amazing topic. We haven't even got started. But why is that? Why do you reverse age after powerful ceremonies or powerful events or powerful spiritual retreats, like the one we just had in Tulum, which is the New Earth Music Festival? It's because we shed so much trauma. We shed so many emotions. We connect. We do so much inner work that inner work pushes us into our more radiant self. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that.
That was beautifully explained.
Right? It's so
Yeah.
easy when you just look at it. So it's like we're every solar flash, we're literally preparing and preparing and preparing and preparing for the big solar flash.
Yeah. And
All
another way
right.
of explaining what Eldora just mentioned is that in 5D consciousness, you get all the guidance from inside as if literally you are connected to like a whole operating system, like a whole operating center,
Like a quantum computer.
like a call center of guides, like
Yes.
hundreds of them that are constantly at your disposal. And the more you align with your soul, the more attention they give you. So we've aligned our lives 100% into the path of service, and we don't compromise on that mission statement. We're here to serve above all else. So because of that, our guidance system has become so amplified that literally our guides say, now pay attention to working out, now go get this haircut, now watch your diet. Like, they micromanage us to the extent that we allow it and we invite it into our life because we love it. It's literally like being hooked up to like
quantum computer.
I keep getting like
Call
James
center.
Bond, like when he's on the road
Ah.
and he has a freaking like intelligence
Yes,
cloud
that's what
operating system.
That's what our life
It's like
feels
mission
like.
control is in your ears, and
Yes.
they see several dimensions above you,
Yes.
and they're constantly steering your life. And literally, I'm constantly saying these days that I've given up on doubting our own guidance.
Oh gosh.
Because my human was just defeated by how many times our guidance was accurate. We literally feel like we're being pushed through a maze and all the steps are being given to us. And that's what really 5D unity consciousness is. It's like you're no longer human, but you're superhuman. You're connected to a higher operating system that knows so much more. And the more you surrender and trust, and if they say go left, go left. And if they say go right, go right. But there's a level of intelligence that you also have to raise yourself, so you're not dumbly following the orders, but you're co-creating this reality. So you're feeding that system of intelligence, your higher self. You're feeding them the commands of what you want to create in your life, and in return they give you exact steps, and it's very magical.
It's magical.
And
I
that's
love
unity.
how you explained that.
Yeah.
It literally, when Siman said it feels like there's someone in our ear, it does. A year ago, Siman said to me, I'm seeing your higher self, and she has very short hair, like really, really short, even shorter than this. And I said, oh my God, I'm not ready for it. 2 weeks ago, I booked a haircut here in Winchester, in London, in England. And it was an amazing salon. And 2 weeks ago, like clockwork, I saw this vision of me with short hair. If I had not received that vision, I would have never accepted this. And everything, literally my body is morphing, guys. So I got the haircut, and we haven't even started yet. Welcome, everyone. We're going to go into sabotage soon. But just to wrap this up, what happens when this guidance comes in is that so it's got nothing to do with free will. You still have 100% free will. But when you completely align your will to divine will, the guides take so much interest in you that they're actually going to spoon feed you. But it's not spoon feeding, because you've already shown your mastery. You've already shown your alignment. So it's like having a whole team that you're not even paying working for you, because that's how much your contribution to the ascension is. And our intention is for every single one of you to come up to the guidance that we have. Because honestly, the guidance that we have is so humongous and enormous. We have not seen this level of guidance with any human on planet Earth. And we don't know. Sometimes I ask Siman, I'm like, how the hell are we so guided? And you know what our guides tell us? You guys are so guided because you have been put in a position of power and enormous responsibility. They're saying more than power, enormous responsibility. And you and Siman have constantly chosen to align to the divine path. You have constantly chosen to offer yourself to the collective. You've never shied away from hard work. You've never shied away from integrity. You've never ever compromised on your integrity. You've never compromised on your authenticity. And these are the qualities of a divine being. If I've had to, in the past, I've had to sweep floors. I've had to do everything at my events, and I've done it in stride. Siman has had to pick up heavy equipment, speakers, and work till 2, 3 a.m. before and after our events, just because somebody was supposed to show up and they wouldn't show up or whatever. But that was our training. We have literally earned our right and earned our place. And what the guides are saying is that because of all of this and the position of responsibility that we've been put in, we have the most guidance that I know of on planet Earth. I'm talking about guidance. I'm not talking about anything else, specifically guidance. We're connected as fuck. And our intention is for every single one of you to get there. And many of you are already on your way. So if you're not as connected as us, it just means that there's a bit more work to do, but you will be. You will be. That's what we do in all our healings. We activate your cyclical chakra. That's what we did in the Merlin event. We activated a massive chakra to connect you to the void, to connect you to the galactic realms. What we do in every activation is like we open up your channeling chakra. We work on your soul star. We work on your earth star. So guys, there is a lot coming, and let's get started. We have 441 people in the house. So that's 144 spelled backwards. I take that as a sign that we're about to begin. So
And I just wanted to add that, you know what makes the guidance, you know what keeps skyrocketing our guidance is the fact that we never stop. We never stop
we never give
growing.
up.
We never give up, and we also never settle. We don't say, well, we got activated in our psychic abilities, we can hear our guides, so now let's couch surf. We push ourselves to the next limit, to the next level, to the next level. We try out new meditations, new
Yes.
techniques. And that's the key, that the baseline that we're at right now, we're supposed to be 1,000 times more psychic. So never settle.
All right, guys. So, welcome everybody. Today's topic is a very, very important one. But before we begin, this is very important. Like, you know how before the event, before a video, I literally get the download of how important this is. This video, this topic is so important. It is the most important curriculum in your mastery right now. So, before we get started, let's just harmonize the field. Close your eyes or keep it open, whatever works for you. And we're just going to absorb these sound frequencies. Taking a deep breath in, releasing. Taking another deep breath in, releasing with a sigh. Ah. Final deep breath in and a bigger sigh. Deep breath in and let it out. Ah. Welcome back, everybody. Are you okay?
That was very powerful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I felt so many angelic beings streaming through with the voice. All right, soul family. So we are going to start on the topic of spiritual self-sabotage. This is going to be a reference video because regardless of where you are in your life right now, you are going to have to come back to this topic, is what I'm being shown, because of how important it is. So just like an onion has many layers, you peel one layer, you see another layer, you peel the other layer, you see another layer, till you get to the core. So think of yourselves think of the onion bulb at the very center as your divine self. And think of every single layer of the onion as your ego program, as your self-sabotage, as whatever that you have to peel in order for the inner blossom and for the inner flower, petal, whatever analogy you want to use. So before we get even started on the topic of self-sabotage, we want to go into a little bit about what self-sabotage is, and more importantly, what soul fragmentation is. And we're going to go deep, right, Saman?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go deep because this is coming in very strong. And in front of our eyes, we're seeing light workers constantly sabotage themselves like never before. And it's so obvious that this
Especially
is...
because the energy is getting so intense.
It is so... Exactly. The solar flash, that we're all preparing for the solar flash. You know why? Because when we get in front, we all know that we are preparing for galactic contact. Why can't that happen today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow? You know why? Honestly, do you know why? It's because if we come in the presence of high vibrational beings like the galactics or any extraterrestrial positively oriented beings of a high vibration, our shit will come up. And this is also what happens in the vortex. You guys know what happens when you're in the presence of any being of light, even like light workers, and the light workers' energy, the vibration is really high. That light that they emit from within is unbearable to the ego. So it triggers that light like a torchlight. It shines. The inner light emanating from light workers of a high consciousness emanates on every single dark spot of your being, every single unresolved, unhealed, unresolved part of your being. Okay, so let's start by talking about trauma. We're going to talk about trauma because everything that's happening in your lives right now, who you have become right now, what you are doing right now, how your relationships are working out right now, what kind of a job you're in right now. All of this goes right back to your trauma from your childhood. Now, what happens during trauma? Let's actually do this with a diagram. So what happens during trauma? So what happens is when you are... I'm just going to do this here. So let's say that you have gone through, and every single one of us has gone through like a million traumas. Okay, hold on. Whenever you go through trauma of any kind, small, large, whatever, a soul fragmentation takes place. The best way to absorb this analogy is, you know how, and why does this happen? I'll get into it in a bit. This happens because, like, think of a river. A river is going, a river is going, a river is flowing. And anytime it sees an exit, anytime it sees a path, it branches off into smaller rivers, right? It keeps evolving, it keeps growing, but it's constantly branching off wherever it needs to. That's how trauma works. So whenever you have a trauma, what happens is your soul fragments into two parts immediately. One part is the victim of the trauma. What is the victim? What are the qualities of the victim? The victim is usually super numb. Like the victim just becomes numb. Like your father is beating the shit out of you. Your father is emotionally abusing you. You're being sexually abused. Whatever the case, you're with a narcissist friend, whatever the case, you become numb to the trauma. So one part of your soul says, oh my God, this is too much for me. This is too much for me, because you're a divine consciousness. You're a divine being. So you're on Earth, which is a 3D planet, which is a third dimensional planet. The consciousness here is very stifling for your soul, especially trauma and rudeness and abuse and sexual abuse. And it's horrible. So your soul's coping mechanism is it breaks off. When there's trauma, immediately there's a soul fragmentation that takes place. One becomes the victim and the other becomes your protector. Clear so far? One becomes the victim, the other becomes the protector. Now, what happens here, and Saman, feel free to jump in because I want to go deep with this, is what happens when this happens this happens in a million areas of your life, not just one. Let's say you're in grade 4 and somebody bullies you. Instantly you go into 2. You go into 1, which is the victim, which is like, my God, that was so mean. He bullied me. That is so mean. And you become really sad and numb. And the other part of you, so every trauma creates two sides. And the two sides are the polar opposites of each other. Okay? This video is an activation. So you don't have to write things down. You just have to absorb it in your cells. And that's why I said keep coming back. Because let's say you watch it 6 months from now. I can guarantee you'll see a whole bunch of stuff that you are not seeing today. So just absorb these frequencies. Don't be worried about shit, I'm not understanding, or don't worry about the science.
Exactly.
You want to go a bit more into this?
I wanted to go deeper into the victim protector.
Yes.
So basically, the victim is the unconscious part.
Yes.
And the protector is your conscious part. So you know how we have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind? The victim, because the trauma is so unbearable in pain levels for the soul, it fragments itself into a victim that just says, this is too unbearable for me. I'm going to separate myself and I'm going to go into the subconscious mind where it feels safe because I don't have to. The subconscious mind cannot feel any of your emotions. It's like completely out of the view of the conscious mind. So there, your soul can fragment itself and store itself as a sub-personality. Now, this comes as a very important subject in the subject of self-sabotage, because what eventually ends up happening is that we have sometimes hundreds or thousands of sub-personalities within us. We think we have one body and we have one personality. That's not true. We actually have one body, but we're all of us, not one human is left out of this equation.
Yeah.
Every single human has multiple personalities. So in essence, you could say very honestly that we're all schizophrenic. There's no one of us who's perfect.
And another way to say that is that, you know how some people are multiple personality disorder to the point that 1 minute they say they're David and the next second you ask them, what's your name? They say, I'm Phil. That is an extreme case of these trauma soul fragmentations. But most of us don't have it at that level.
Yeah.
But to understand how you're self-sabotaging yourself in your lives today, which is the most, it's not just, this curriculum is actually very advanced in the sense it's so advanced because of how multidimensional it is to even teach it. Okay, so we're going to go as deep as possible, but we're also going to go in different examples.
Yeah.
So now what happens is, okay, let's just talk about, okay, I'm going to give you an example now, because I love examples. That way you really absorb the teaching. So many of you know that I was in an abusive childhood. Like my father was so emotionally abusive, extremely, like it was horrible for me to live. Like there was, when I was 16, they locked me up in my bedroom for 3 days and they just would open the door. There was no bathroom in it. So every time I had to go to the bathroom, I would have to knock on the door and then go out and they would send me to the bathroom and then they would just slide my food in just because I was, I don't know, I went out for a movie with my friends because they wouldn't let me go and I lied or something stupid like that. Or another day I came back from my university and I saw a big pile of smoke in the garbage bin at the end of the street. And I realized my father had taken all of my clothes and all of my shoes and burnt them because he thought I was becoming too pretty and that was getting to my head. And I was not even, I was the most simple, humble, sweet girl in my class and the most intelligent. Like I was very smart and very things. So all of my father's insecurities about me showed up in the way he took care of me. So when I was 18, I ran away from home. Now, let's talk about it. So when he locked, one of the biggest inner child fragments that have been the hardest for me to heal, not hardest, but it's taken the longest, is that 16-year-old girl who was locked in that bedroom. And I've done a lot of inner child healing on that particular person because at 16, she felt very defeated. She felt very humiliated that she was just locked in the room for nothing, for no fault. She was made to feel like she was the worst person in the world. She was made to feel like nobody would ever want to marry her. Nobody would ever want to date her. She was made to feel so sick about herself that she fragmented. She fragmented into two parts, and one part of her became completely numb, the victim, like I'm a victim of emotional abuse. And the other part became so fucking protective of her, and they're both polar opposites of each other. And before I get into it anymore, what happens when this, I'll dissect the example, but what happens is when there's polar opposites of you within you, what happens? It sabotages the hell out of you because inside you, you have all these opposites working.
Yeah.
One part of you is saying, hey, you can finish projects. You can do this business. Hey, you can, like Lightworkers, you guys can resonate. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. One part of you is saying you can do this. But there's a polar opposite that's saying, no, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. Because one's trying to protect you. One's trying to. So when there's trauma still active in your body, You always have two sides of your soul fragmentation. That's all you need to know up to this part of the video. So now, what do we do when our soul fragments? So one part of me went into numbness, like victim, like my goodness, and the other part of me went into protector, saying, I will do anything in my capacity, anything, to make sure that I have the opposite of this experience of my childhood, where there was no love, there was no warmth, there was no hugs. My father and mother never hugged me, ever. They never said, I love you. We had no hugs. There was no physical contact. At most, it would be a handshake, happy birthday handshake, like so weird. And so what did I do? But because of the trauma, I ran away from home when I was 18, of course. But then the trauma made me pick the opposite of this. And all I wanted, all my blinders, because when you have trauma in your body, you have blinders on. You have blinders. It's like you're walking through life with only half your consciousness. So you make a lot of mistakes. So what happened when that happened was I said, I will marry only for love. There were so many rich multimillionaires, actually, multimillionaire guys who were crazy about me. And I'm like, nope, you guys will cheat on me. You guys won't love me. Fuck you. I'm not even going to say yes to you guys. What do I want? Love. I was obsessed with finding love because it was the polar opposite of my childhood. Now, this is very, very relevant to every single one of you. What did I do? Because I was in this trauma, I did not attract a love that was beautiful. I didn't attract a love that was healing. I didn't attract a love that respected me. You know what I did? I shrunk my light so much to find just love. I was obsessed, like love, love, love. Where's love? Where's love? Where's love? Where's love? And the first guy that offered me love became my husband of 20 years. But in the meantime, I allowed his parents to talk down to me. I allowed his family to constantly belittle me. I did everything possible to adapt to their ways. If they said, grow your hair, I would grow my hair. If they said, lose 10 pounds and then we'll love you, I would lose 10 pounds. If they said, cook this kind of food, I will love you, I would cook this kind of food. And my obsession became, what do I need to do to fit into this family to get love? So what did I do? I literally shrunk my light, not my size. My size actually went up because I was under so much stress. I was like actually overweight because of all this stress. So I shrunk my light. And then I said, will you love me now? Will you love me now? And the family said, yes, now you're at a point where we can love you. So for 20 years, I carried on that charade. Many of you can resonate. Are you in a narcissistic relationship? Are you in a relationship where your partner is treating you like shit? Are you in a relationship where you have no boundaries? Are you in a relationship where you have no voice, no say? Are you in a relationship where you're not happy? Are you in a relationship where you are glorifying your partner? Glorifying, like I did. I glorified my in-laws in a very blunt way. Their consciousness is so low. When I look at it now from my current self, when I look back on my in-laws, they're just not normal 3D people. They are really low conscious 3D people. There's a difference because we've all been 3D. We've all been low consciousness.
And by low consciousness, she means like manipulators, cheaters. They'll hurt others. They'll
liars,
backbite. They'll
gossip,
all those things. The negative attributes. So it's like below average.
Below average, way below average. And when I look at that, so many of us are doing the form of self-sabotage, but you have to understand why it even happened. I'll go into it later. You take on from here.
Yeah. So I actually have the point that connects all the dots.
Perfect.
So it's perfect. That's how our guides work.
Yes.
We're always pulling off the same feed. So basically, going back to this example of many of us can relate to a childhood where we didn't receive the kind of love that we expect to receive. And especially being sensitives and star souls, I would say star seeds, being of the nature of being from higher dimensions, when we come to Earth, it's part of our soul plan to have a experience of a soul shattering. And coming to Earth requires high frequency beings to have this shattering experience so they can merge with the lower density matrix of the planet. And once we're shattered by taking on the soul contract of trauma from others, from usually our family members and loved ones are the ones who carry out our soul contracts of trauma. That gives us sufficient data in order to merge with the consciousness of the planet. And then our soul mission as light workers is to come out of that depth, out of that darkness, out of that shattered state, and pull all the pieces back together. But how does the mechanics of all of this work on a psychological level? So we already established that whenever we have trauma, we have hundreds of shattered pieces within us. So by trauma, I don't mean like really like there's trauma like that's very extreme, like sexual abuse and being battered and all of those things, which are very obvious. But trauma is also when you argue with your partner. Trauma is also when your mom belittles you and over the phone and guilts you. Trauma is also when your kid throws a tantrum and you're already running late. So all of these things are constantly becoming like burdens on your subconscious mind. So think that we are all, in a way, we all have multiple personality disorders because of how much weight and baggage that we're carrying in our subconscious mind. Now, each of these personalities that you carry within your field may be aware of each other. They may talk to each other. Some of them may not be aware of each other. There may be some sub-personalities that come out once a year when a big argument happens. And in those cases, like you won't even know while that personality is acting out, you won't even know that this is a different part of me that's acting out. It'll just seem like I'm just doing what's right in that moment. But once we get to understand the mechanics of how all of our personalities work, how our psychology works, next time when it happens and you're armed with this knowledge and armed with this information, you'll begin to observe yourself at a more microscopic level. You'll be able to detach from the story in the heat of the moment where this protective side takes over and says, at all costs, I have to protect myself and I have to put an end to this situation. And there's many examples of self-sabotage that occur. And self-sabotage usually occurs when your conscious mind, for example, says, I want this ideal job. But your subconscious mind, because let's say your parents spoke down to you and always put a sense of lack of self-worth within you by speaking down to you. And I can relate to that. In my childhood, that happened a lot with my father. And I had to deal with a lot of self-worth issues. And when I was going for my dream jobs, I would like sabotage myself. Like I would do good for a while and then I would start like, losing interest. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like I have such a perfect career path that I can't maintain this for a long period of time. And I was getting a little worried because that was my bread and butter. So we sabotage ourselves because a subconscious part or a subconscious personality that in my case, the one that thinks I'm not good enough, but I'm not consciously aware that I'm not good enough. I'm just thinking, hell yeah, I want this job. Like I studied in university for it. I trained for it. I can kick ass in it. But then I just can't get up and hit the alarm clock, I just can't get up on time. Like I sabotage myself. So it happens in a way that you don't even realize that you're doing it, but you are doing it. And it's when you pay attention to the underlying, there's a river running downstream. There's a river running in, it's like a narration of your story from the subconscious mind. We only have to take our microscope or our lens and point it downwards. And then we start to understand, oh, the conscious mind is like 1%. The subconscious mind story is like 99%. And things get very interesting when you start to unravel the subconscious mind and begin to pull programs out of it. So when you realize that, oh my God, this is related to the trauma that I think I'm going to screw up this job because I'm not good enough. When you realize it's that story and it's usually related to childhood or it's usually related to an incident in your life that was extremely significant or traumatic that caught your attention and it's lodged in your nervous system. So once you realize that these are the self-sabotaging stories I need to get over, then, and we'll give you some techniques on how to do that.
In fact, let's go into an example of this.
Sure.
So his example was, and many of you can relate, I really, 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 really want that job. So, so we can actually talk about, there was a person who came to live in our house. Many of you are aware of this. This person was extremely, I'm talking obsessed about coming with us, working with us. She kept saying, my soul, my soul, my soul is asking for this. My soul, my soul. Like she was obsessed with it. And she was applying since January, February, March, April, May, June. And I think she started working with us recently. As soon as she entered our house, so basically she said a lot of things like, I can do this, I can do that, I can cook, I can do this, I can do like a million things. And so we gave her the job as an executive housekeeper. We paid her very, very, and I'm saying very generously. We booked her flight. We got her in a cab, $400 pounds just to come home in a cab. We were like, we'll take care of you. As soon as she walked in through the door, all of her shit came up. Now, let's talk about this very detailed because I really, really, really need you guys to absorb this, because what's happening right now, this is the part that I want to tell you guys. This applies to every one of you. The guides are actually saying that if you don't resolve your self-sabotage mechanisms of your polar opposites within you, you may lose out on some of the biggest opportunities that you've had, not just in this lifetime, but in any lifetime ever. Like you guys are being given your cards right now, and self-sabotage is going to not help you get the card, because this person who came to our house. Okay, so let's dissect. So first of all, let's say you get a job and you're like, oh my God, I got my dream job. Okay. Now remember, if you're fragmented, remember we talked about that trauma fragmenting. One part of it is like not even aware. The unconscious mind is not even, the conscious mind is just happy. The conscious mind says, I got a job, I got a job. What is the unconscious mind doing? The unconscious mind, you have to remember, when trauma happens, your soul fragments. We talked about it. Now what's happening is one part is super happy. Now the other part is going to do everything in its power. And I mean everything, the protector side. And it's not really your protector. We call it the protector, but the protector cannot really protect you. Why? Because its lens are trauma. It was created to protect you from trauma. It was, I repeat, are you guys following? Are you guys following? Tell me yes if you are. Give me hearts, whatever, because I want to make sure you follow. The protector side is created to protect you from trauma. Perfect. So what this protector side is going to do is it's going to say, no, this is too much for you. This is enormous for you. No, 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 no.
Too good to be true.
It's too good to be true. No, no, no. It's gonna say, hey, just go late. Just act like you don't like the job. Just have ungratitude. Just like all, and it knows, your protector side knows all your shadow work that's not been done. So it's going to, just like your ego, it's going to convince you that this job is too good to be true. This job is too enormous for you. You cannot do it. You cannot manage the enormity of this vortex. You cannot do it. Pretty much, you cannot do it. And so this protector side becomes your biggest self-sabotage. Now, it's not just protect. So the girl who came to our house, of course, all of this happened. But in addition, what had happened was so this is now a slightly different topic, which we talk about a lot already. We in our channel are always telling you guys that right now, the most important area where your energy, your focus is required is in your shadow work. Why do we constantly talk about it, even though we have a million things to talk about that can get us 100,000 times more views? Like we can talk about so many things that'll get us views. Why are we stuck on shadow work, my friends? Because seriously, it's because we love you and we don't want you to lose out on some of the biggest opportunities of your life. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. So, for example, this person came to our house. She spent 3 weeks with us. In those 3 weeks, we were told that she's an initiate of our mystery school, and we were told to give her all her curriculum. So we said, gratitude is a big one. You have zero gratitude. She literally said, I don't feel any gratitude, because gratitude, this is very important. And you will see, I'll tie it all up together because this is so important. Let's say you watch us and you kind of like us, but you're not in your gratitude. It has nothing to do with us. If you've not activated and trained and cultivated your gratitude or your integrity, or you're working hard template. So when this person came, right away we went to Glastonbury, we went to Avebury, we took like 5 days of picnics, and every day she was in the picnic with us. But her story was, I'm not getting any days off. For another person without trauma, this would have been like the best job in the world on steroids. This would have been like the jackpot job, right? So her soul knows it's the jackpot job, but her trigger, her other side, her protector is saying, I don't know, I'm a Duchess of York. Why am I cleaning? Literally, she has no job, no nothing, but she thinks she's the Duchess of York because that's what we talk about. Guys, when we talk about split personalities, it's a real thing, okay? We're not trying to just make stories up. Now, what happened was her extreme ingratitude. Now, that's one. What else do you guys have to cultivate right now? When you guys are given your cards, when you guys are given your medals, when you guys are given, and this is coming, this is why I'm making this video. It's so strong. Everything we make is only what the guides ask us to talk about. We don't like just think of topics. The guides are saying this is ultra important. So if you have to watch this 10 times, this is the one you watch 10 times. It's that important. Share to everybody, because when you share, you're actually helping with the ascension. This is so important. So then what happened? She hadn't yet cultivated in her own life her working hard template. So it was more like many light workers, you guys can relate. You think, oh, we're light workers, we're from the stars, we don't have to work hard. I'm sorry, that's not true. Siman and I can tell you honestly that hard work is something that you have to do to even appear on your throne.
To even qualify for the ascension.
To even qualify for your ascension. And no one that I know of, I mean, I know other people who've worked really, really hard, and we're amongst them, that group. We have worked our asses off all our lives. All our lives. We have worked our asses, and we never shy away from work, ever. So what happened was this person started saying, oh, the work is too much. We said, no problem. We'll get a cleaner. You just do the cooking and we'll adjust the salary. No problem. Because we don't have trauma. We're okay. So gratitude came up. Integrity came up. What is integrity? This is another big one you guys need to focus on. Integrity is over-promising and under-delivering. What do you see Siman and I do in anything we offer? We always over-deliver. Every single event, I can confidently say we over-deliver like the fuck out of our offerings. Why? Why? Because we're doing everything to activate you. We're doing everything to upgrade you. We're doing it with the purest of intentions. We're not doing it saying, hey, we'll teach this on YouTube, but we'll hold back this information for later. We don't have those sly intentions. We're
and
just
also
flowing.
Because of our integrity. When we say we're going to deliver something, we only feel we're in integrity if we over-deliver. If we think we gave it 80% and made excuses, then we're not in integrity.
Correct. So why is all this important? You'll see. This is all your self-sabotage blind spots. And there are so many. We're going to get into more. This is just one example. So now integrity came up. What is integrity? Saying, hey, I'll bake fires for you every day. Hey, I'll give you massages every day. Hey, I can cook this. I can cook that. I can do this. I can do that. I'm your biggest fan. I love your work. I'm your biggest student. When she came here, all of her lies came crashing. And she was given a very big role because if she had continued with us. Anyway, so all of this, let's go step by step. So 3 weeks she worked here and then we were going to Switzerland. We said, you go home. She went home. Now, guys, this is where it gets really interesting. If you haven't done your shadow work, what's the word they're telling me? The leeway. Okay. Your leeway time is up. Literally, they're saying leeway time is up. What does that mean? Until now, there has been a cushion around you, a protective cushion it's just like instant karma, but this is about sabotage. Until now, there's been a bit of a protective cushion around you that has said, okay, you're sabotaging yourself. We're not going to show it we're not going to explode it right in front of your face. We're going to slowly get you there. But right now that cushion is being removed. Why? Because we're all being prepared for the solar flash. Why? Because we are all being prepared for our ascension. Why? Because Earth is ascending and we have no choice but to ascend with her. Ascension is not a choice. It's not an option. You are ascending. How fast and how gracefully you want to do it is up to you. Do you want to get slapped around like crazy and then ascend, or do you want to do it with ease and grace? That's your choice. Okay. Now, this person went back home. She was extremely happy when she left. She left all her stuff here. She didn't take any of her stuff. She was flying. On the Merlin activation day, we literally said, just sit outside because the Merlin and his team were here in the house. So we said, just sit by the tree in front of our house and all day absorb the energies of Merlin. Like, this is the best job you can possibly have, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's very obvious. She's like, oh my God, I'm in bliss. So she went back home. Now, this is where it gets interesting. As soon as she went back home, her husband had a chat with her. Her family had a chat with her without getting too much into the details and said, hey, I've been, ever since your awakening, I've been feeling ungratitude from you. I've been feeling you have no integrity in your relationship with me. I've been feeling that you're very cold. You have no heart. You have no care. Everything that she learned off here that she couldn't get to see or face came blowing up in her mind, her face. And her husband left. He said, I'm leaving. Left. Now, can you guys see the self-sabotage patterns? It's very deep, you guys. This is so deep, which is why I'm taking this example so boldly and just going with it. It's so freaking important. I'm literally trying to save you from losing out on the best opportunities of your life. Okay, so this happened. We said we're holding space for you because we already know. She came here, she had a walk-in. The walk-in was done to make it so obvious that, hey, use your brains. Walk in. These guys are the only people, like they're the best people that you can be with if you have a walk-in. So when the husband left, then what happened? The protector side, I showed you the diagram, the protector side kicked in. You can't do this. This is too enormous. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't go back to EldoRa and Siman. They're too much. They're too much for you. Their vortex is too much for you. So guess what this person did? Instead of identifying the trauma, because we had told her all of this, she went into fear. And what happened then is the fear started speaking in this manner. Fine, I'm going to come back, because my husband left me because I was saying that I really want to do a lot for you. And that's complete bullshit. Now, why is this important? If you're being inauthentic like this, you're self-sabotaging yourself. Every word that's coming out of my mouth is showing me where you're self-sabotaging yourself. When I got that text, I said, this text is full of shit. If you say to me, hey, my husband left me because I was inauthentic, I was a cold bitch, I was in ingratitude, I had no care, I thought I had super high spiritual ego, I thought I was the Duchess of York when I'm really just a maid, not even making any money in wherever, Denmark. I'm literally a cleaner. And then I got a glorified position with EldoRa and Siman where I travel the world with them. I have all these potentials. Instead of saying it in authenticity, she lied. The minute she lied, I said, no, I'm not having this in my vortex until you say to me, I screwed up. I have no gratitude. You see what I mean? So don't take shortcuts. Don't hide behind your protector self. When your protector self stands up and says, make something up, just avoid this. So anyway, this happened. And then I said, you are going to go away for a week and just reflect on all of this. And you're not going to text me in the meantime. And we were still thinking, we'll take her back. She didn't know that. A week later, she sent us a message with more garbage saying, fine, I'm okay now. And I'm going to come back to your vortex. And my soul chose this. So there must be something in it. Now, again, why is this self-sabotage? It's not got the humility to say, it's not like your soul chose this. This is another very important point, guys. The guides are saying this is so important. They're saying go into detail with this. What do they want me to say? Okay, I get it. So what they're saying is that, I lost it.
Is it about authenticity? Like,
what was I saying?
Like in the response, like you said, give it a week, and then she came back with inauthenticity.
Oh, yes. So when she came back, she said, oh, yes. Thank you. The guides are saying to all of you, right now they're channeling. They're saying, dear soul family, we love you with all our heart. We are your biggest cheerleaders. We are your biggest support system. We follow you around even when you're not aware of us. We are with you all day, all night. When you sleep, when you wake up, we are constantly trying to support you from the other part of the veil. But never, this is a strong message coming in, never, not for 1 second, believe that you are so special that you can throw around your arrogance, that you can throw around your inauthenticity, that you can throw around your ungratitude when you have been gifted some of the best opportunities of your life. Return to humility. Return to innocence. Return to innocence. Own your blind spots. Own your insecurities. It's beautiful to say, I feel insecure. I feel little. It's beautiful to say, I feel unworthy. And so all my shit's coming up. It's beautiful to say that. Own it. But don't make up other stories. And in this case, to talk about this case, this girl made up examples of, well, my soul chose it, so I'll come back. And that's not good enough, you see.
It's not rooted in gratitude and humility.
Correct.
And guides are saying that we really need to pay attention to our hearts, to our inner authentic voice. We are too often covering things up. We may realize we're bullshitting others or we're bullshitting ourselves, but we're covering it up instead of owning it. And the path to healing begins with you owning and acknowledging all of your blind spots, like EldoRa mentioned. And there are many self-sabotage mechanisms and behaviors that light workers display. And one of the main themes that we saw coming up in the collective, when we look at the light worker archetype, I would say, is not being grounded enough to get projects done. And that's some of you brought up as a very important topic that needs to be addressed.
Before you go there, have we completed the previous example? Because that's such a deep one. Let me just see if there's anything in there, because it's so deep.
Fine.
So owning, let's see if there's anything else there. So basically, to wrap up the story, I don't think there's any other lessons in there. If they are, I'll come back to it. But to wrap up that story, because of the inauthenticity, the last message we sent her was basically, because we have full connection with our guides, and our guides were telling us that it's a very high timeline, not just for her, but even for us to have her with us, because we were being Christed in the divine flame of the Holy Father, the Holy Mother, and the Holy Child, the divine Mother, Father, Child, Holy Trinity. And on her second day here, she just came in to be a housekeeper, like to do cleaning and cooking. And second day, Metatron came in, and there was like an inner child. There was like a Christed Trinity formed. And we gave her healings. Like it became she became a family member. But what they're saying is, because of all of the inauthenticity, because of the extreme ingratitude and spiritual ego, we have now said, because hold on, the reason why her coming to us was such a big timeline for her and us. For her, it's pretty obvious. I mean, traveling the world with us as an Ascension student, there's no better place to be than in our vortex, in our home. Like, you will learn and grow the fastest. And the guides actually said that she has that potential, very high potential. And on the other side, we had free will. So when the guides, even yesterday, we had a talk with our guides about this. The guides literally showed us a vision. And this is the vision I want to tell you about, guys. And we're all holding space for this girl. Many of us know who she is. We're all holding space for her. But we're holding her accountable. You know what the vision we saw yesterday was? Siman saw it and I saw it separately. Of her sitting behind, crying, and hoping to dig her nails and open the window of hope. Because right now what's happened is the husband has left. She's living with her 3D parents, who, you know how hard it is to live with your parents once you awaken. They think we're demons. They always used to tell her, don't go work for them, they're demons. So anyway, that's a different story. It's a different energy. So we see that. But you know, the guide said to us, it's going to be a very big timeline. If she comes back to you, what's your choice? Because why? Because if she comes to us, we both have a mystery school student to convert all of our coaching to her into teachings to you. Do you see? The guides always think like that. The guides think what's best for the Ascension. Oh my God, having this girl with EldoRa and Siman is the best, because you can do a holy father, mother, father, child healing. 2, sisterhood of the rose healing, of being with a stranger, but giving each other so much respect and care. And 3, there was so much going on. The most important thing the guide said was, this is your material for your mystery school, right? But now our free will kicked in. And we said, if a person does not have gratitude and genuine love for us, and if this person literally cooks food for us and mixes like pickle and all these preservative things in our food, this is our free will. And we say, no, we don't want her back. Even though you guys are saying that the timelines are so grand, which we see, because she gives us material for teaching. And right now we don't have any subjects. We're just teaching you based on guidance. Imagine if we actually had a student living in our house. We could make you guys ascend in a few. You know what I mean? So we've turned it down. Where it goes in the future, we don't know. But so why is this? Do you see how self-sabotage works, you guys? Many of you guys are going to be offered positions. So you have to remember, and we'll go into many examples. Siman has a few more examples coming. when you guys look into your lives right now, look into every single area of your life where you're triggered, every single area of your life where you feel, oh, she's so controlling, or she's so rude, or what gives her the right to dress like this, or any area where you're feeling that, you are compromised. Return to innocence. This is the biggest transmission the guides gave us. Do you get it? Return to innocence, because that's your journey home. Say, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Yes, I understand. Shit, yeah, I should communicate better. Damn, I should communicate. Instead of saying, yeah, I should communicate better, when I say to you, hey, improve your communication, don't make your like big fat face and say, who is EldoRa to tell me to fix my communication? Well, I'm a master communicator. I'm a master leader. Like, I know what I'm saying. So watch out for and not just it with me, watch out with your family, watch out with your children. Where are you? Where's your protector side of your trauma taking over and compromising you?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many reasons that light workers can be blindsided by their own subpersonalities. And one of the main things that we see in the Lightworker community is not being able to focus in one direction. Many people are feeling disillusioned, that they don't know which direction their soul wants to go. They can't finish projects. If you want to start your own business, you're not sure where to start. You feel like you don't have the skills. You feel like you can't get things done. You start one thing, but then you get demotivated. So we wanted to dissect one of the some of the top reasons why light workers sabotage themselves, because this is a very common theme. And some of the common themes that come up when we talk about not being able to get projects completed, or self-sabotaging yourself, even though you may be in your dream job or dream situation, there is need for perfection. Sometimes we pay too much attention to wanting everything to be perfect, but realize that there's no such thing as perfect. So get rid of this idea of the need for perfection, because this holds many of us back. Many of us think that we're supposed to start our business, but we can't even get to doing anything, because anytime we start on doing something, we want it to be perfect, and that becomes a self-defeating program within itself. And the need for perfection usually comes from being overly criticized in your childhood. So if you're overly criticized, you get a repulsion for when people try to give you feedback. So your self-defense mechanism that we spoke about, you split into a victim and a defender. And the victim just forgets that there's feedback. It just blocks itself off in the subconscious and does not allow you to receive feedback to improve yourself, like EldoRa's example. But also there's a self-protective mechanism that comes on and says, all my projects need to be perfect, because this gives nobody room to criticize me. So if you have this kind of pattern, just pay attention to where it's coming from and let go of the need for perfection, because there's no such thing. At the same time, we're not saying like put out sloppy work, put out half-done work. You have to be grounded. You have to be thorough. You have to be sharp. You have to plan things out. And
indecisiveness.
Yeah, indecisiveness.
Over-promising.
One thing I want to go deep in is, before EldoRa and I go into projects, we sometimes spend 3 months sitting with the idea of the project.
Sometimes over a year.
We don't start the project until it has sprouted within our soul, within the seat of our soul.
And that's our secret.
That's our secret. And we're giving you all our secrets.
Yes.
And this is very valuable information. And I hope you really dig deep and apply this in your life.
Guys, I'm honestly telling you, most spiritual teachers who have made it, like the big ones, they actually will only teach you this in their paid workshops and their paid seminars and their paid
some of
offerings.
them won't even teach you.
And some of them will charge $6,000-$7,000, but when they're on stage, they'll teach you these things. This is invaluable information. So
this is business coaching, like 5D business coaching. And we'll do a lot more of that in our membership groups as well. But our objective is to get as much out there in a broad perspective, and then in our memberships, go deep into these topics. So what we're going to do is, when you're thinking about a project, usually many light workers fail in the first month because they're rushing forward with things too quickly. You have to set intentions, and you have to really sit with that intention. Like, for example, if you want to start your dream business, let's say your dream business is being an energy healer. Let's say you've done all your courses, you're ready to start, and then you think like, is this right for me? Like, okay, now that I'm really going to begin, like I'm going to be in this room like for 12 hours a day doing back-to-back like healings. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, I don't want to be in a room. I might end up in a Reiki center without windows. Like, I have to drink from that cooler all day. Like, what was I thinking? You know what happens is you're not thinking enough before you start on your projects. You have to really, once you get your top aim, once you, so let's start layer above.
Let's start with the first step.
Yeah, but let's start with the first step.
We're going to give you the steps.
We're going to give you the secret sauce of how to build your business successfully. And this is really like the foundational knowledge that everybody can apply.
And it's about business, it's about project, it's about anything.
It's about getting anything done in life.
We actually wrote this down.
Yeah. So
you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to start with the foundation, then you jump in.
Yeah.
So the foundation is that, let's say you're sitting in your couch planning 100 things and you don't know which one takes priority. You have so many ideas in your journal and there's hundreds of them, but you don't know how to follow through with them. You don't know which one is going to be more take precedence over another, which business idea is going to be successful, which is going to be a failure, which one you'll enjoy, which one you'll not enjoy. Some are just like passing by thoughts and ideas that you just forget. You never even write them down. And those could be $1 million ideas. So the first thing you do is take all this jumble of ideas that's like hundreds of ideas in a cloud. You take a big piece of paper or any tool
Whiteboard
that you like to use, but it's better to write with your hands. Whiteboards are a big sheet of paper.
Whiteboard is highly recommended.
Yeah.
You can even get them like the stickable types. Like you put them on a big whiteboard, you stick them or whatever on the wall, and you put sticky notes.
Yeah. And then you just randomly, as the first step.
You need to go slower. You're going too fast. Okay, the first step.
Yeah, the first step.
Perfect. I want it to be very
stop
clear.
me if I'm going too fast.
Yeah.
Because we want to go
I don't want to
deep
go
with this.
jumbled. I want to go very
not at all.
clear.
I'm going systematically.
Perfect.
So the first step is you have your whiteboard. You write down randomly.
The first step is you go ground. The first step is you don't do anything. Right. The first step is you realize how jumbled your life is because your kids are screaming, you're going grocery shopping, you're picking up all this heavy energy from everywhere you go, you're compromised. Every single one of you is compromised until and unless you breathe, you meditate. Why do you think we start all of our sessions with the crystal bowls and singing? We harmonize the field so that the field can just be calm, right? So the first thing you do, the first step is before you do the second step, which he's talking about, is you calm yourself. You meditate in nature, ideally in nature, because what happens when you go to natures, especially forests and bodies of water, lakes and whatnot, is that the trees come out and your aura is out and the tree takes your aura like that and it gives your aura a healing, a clearing. It removes all the density.
It's like cleansing it with a brush.
So now that you've done this for about an hour or 2 hours, still all that brain fog has lifted, that heaviness, that busyness has lifted. Then you go back and you do step 2, which is?
Yeah, exactly. Then you write down your ideas. Because the first point that EldoRa mentioned is the most important point. How could I even forget? And the most important thing is that unless you've decluttered your mental space, you can't even be in a productive thinking space. So that's why we say meditation and silencing your mind is very important. It's not just important for ascending. It's important for all success in all aspects of your life clear your mind.
It's also important for you to do that, to even connect with your guides.
Correct.
So guys, step 2 is you don't just write it somewhere. It's a methodological way. It's a methodological, whatever. You take your big whiteboard, you put it on the wall. This is what I highly recommend. Or you find like a Google Slides or somewhere, ideally pen and pencil. Actually, no, don't do Google Slides. I would not recommend that at least. Take a big whiteboard. It doesn't have to be super big. If you don't have a whiteboard, that's even fine. Use your wall. Just get Post-it notes, okay? Now you take a whole bunch of Post-it notes and you color code them. You can if you want. You don't have to. You write down all of your ideas, Start a mystery school, start this, do a dance party, blah, 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 blah. Write all your notes on your sticky notes. Start a Reiki career, whatever, like travel to Spain, travel to Italy, travel to India for a year. Like you have all these desires. Write them all on sticky notes, okay? Now, sticky notes is important. Why? Because then you can move them around. This is how we do our business. We just run off our sticky notes. We don't need an office. That's 5D. So you take these sticky notes and then you organize them and you say, oh my God, now that I've got all this clutter from my head out on sticky notes, then you organize
Then
them.
you organize them and you begin to form patterns. You
Yes.
say, okay, one pattern is the project of world travel. So all these things like eating in my favorite restaurant in Italy goes in world travel.
Yes.
And starting my new Reiki business goes under new business. And you may have several new businesses and you may have several other ideas that you want to pursue. Then you just sleep over it. You don't do anything that day because you need to marinate. You need to let it all go into the subconscious, and you ask your higher self to show you what's in the highest alignment based on the goals that you've set for yourself as a soul.
And to also interject here, don't say, I've asked my higher self and no one's sending me an email about it. Like, I don't know what to do. How do you know? You've made all your list, right? You've done your brain dump. Then you see, okay, I have all of this. What is my mind telling me or my heart telling me is my first project I want to do? One will just jump out at you. One will just say, this is the first one. So you say, all right. Okay, this is the third step. You say, all right, now my list is done. This project is what I want to work on. So you take that sticky note and you say, this is my top priority. Everything else move to the right. Then you take all the sticky notes that are related to this sticky note and you put them below it.
And before, I just want to interject that before you even
That's
pick
the
your
next step.
top project, I think you should visualize yourself doing that thing.
No, that's the next step.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how I do it. Okay, we do it differently. And I'm super freaking connected. So I'm like very connected in my heart. Like I know exactly what project to do and what not to do. And I'm like, this is one of my superpowers. So I would say that this really, really, really works. This is what I do. I let my head and my heart do the thinking for me and I pick my top project. But then I sleep on and I arrange my sticky notes. And then I also maybe have a second project saying, this is a second option and I make my notes. And this is all fun, okay? Then I sleep on it. And I don't do anything for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 7 days, 10 days. I don't care how long it takes. But until and unless my heart gives me the 100% go ahead saying, that is what I want to do. That is what I want to do. But then, Siman, you can decide when you do Siman's point. It really depends on your project. Tell them about that. Because this is the most important point.
Step is the most important, which
Yes.
is visualizing doing that. Visualizing all the steps leading up to that thing that you want to achieve. Visualize all the preparation steps. Visualize all the things you'll need to learn. You visualize all the people you'll need to meet. Visualize all the deals you'll need to make and as part of your vortex in order to release that offering or whatever have you. All the planning steps, don't do it, don't write it, just think it.
So lie under a tree or lie in a meditative space and say, okay, now this is my sacred space. And I'm going to say, this is my top project. Like I want to do, I'll give you an example.
And it has to excite the fuck out of you.
When I was young, I really, really, really wanted to open my beauty salon. That was my biggest goal. Like I want to be the business owner of a beauty salon. And what will that beauty salon do? It'll do pedicures, manicures. And my father looked at me and he said, do you want people to come and stick their stinky feet on your lap and you want to clean the nails? And I'm like, yuck. Then I said, fine, I want to be an air hostess, like a flight attendant, biggest dream. He's like, you want to clean bathrooms in the flight? I'm like, ew, no. So everything, when you actually think about it,
you have to visualize it.
You're like, shit. So you have to visualize. So for example, if we think about doing one-on-one healings, which by the way is coming, no. Let me rephrase. It's not coming. It's something, that's not what I meant. It's so funny. I said it's coming. It's not coming. But what I meant is when I think of one-on-one healings, it doesn't give me joy. So what he's saying is, don't just think, I want to do one-on-one healings. Think of what's bringing me joy. So this step is very important. It's like taking your project and saying, okay, how excited does this make me? But really, don't just think about it as you're talking to your kids and you're cooking for your kids and say, yeah, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. No, really absorb. This is the most important step out of all of the steps. So you give yourself time to start thinking, okay, this is what I've been wanting to do. Like Nicole in our case, she just joined the Office of Christ. When she first joined, she had the hardest time letting go of her deep desire to be a healer, an Ascension coach. Nicole's 24 years old, and her dream, and she thought she was sabotaging her dream by joining our vortex. And I said to her, okay, you're going to go on 3 days of unpaid leave. This is how I align people. I said, you're going to go on 3 days of unpaid leave, and you're going to sit and think about all of this. Do you really want to go back to being an ascension coach or do you want to work with Siman and me and we'll activate the fuck out of you and you won't be an ascension coach, but what you will be is like 1,000,000 times more powerful, strong, communicator, leadership, everything. Will train you on everything. 3 days later, she came back with so much humility and she's like, holy shit. What I thought was my biggest dream is actually me trying to play small, is actually me trying to choose the lower timeline. It's like me, I'm not even such a master teacher yet. What am I going to teach? Like super kindergarten kids? Who are the kind of students who are going to come to me? I haven't even, she's very smart, but she's still only 24 years or something years old. So she did all of that and she's like, EldoRa and Siman, I'm a fuck yes to come into your vortex. Not only am I a fuck yes, I'm going to give it everything I've got. And one day, I hope to give back to the vortex what the vortex is giving to me right now, which is the biggest opportunity of my life, to be trained by the two of you in business, in leadership, in communication, in everything. So you see how it shifts when you take time off and think. Your highest project may not be your highest project. So you do this step.
Yeah. So, and this part, sometimes this is the part of visualization that sometimes takes 3 months or 1 year. But at the same time, don't allow yourself to procrastinate. There's a fine line between procrastinating and just allowing yourself to really soak it into your heart and get it. So once you get it, once you know that, okay, I've visualized myself performing this dream outcome, this dream job, this dream business, day in and day out, and every single day, like even 10 years from now, it excites the fuck out of me. Like there's no doubt that this is my highest excitement. And the soul always guides you through excitement. So that's why we say emotions are the language that your higher self uses to communicate with you. So pay attention to your excitement, because that's your guides talking to you. They're not always talking with words. They're also speaking through emotions.
And your body.
Yeah.
Your body will hurt.
Listen to your body language. Some things you can't even, like I have a friend, Adam, I'm learning, I'm doing music projects with him. And he's also teaching me a lot about music production. And he said that he was he had an amazing gig given to him that he could record all these music tutorials for some company. But the way they teach the music production was not the way that he likes doing it. And he thinks he can do it 10 times better, which I've seen is true because he's so talented. So he couldn't dim his light. Every day he would be ready with his like coffee, ready to record, like studio lights on, but he couldn't even record one word. Eventually he had to tell the producers that I can't do this. And they said, fine, no worries. But then his partner gave him the idea, why don't you record your own music tutorials, like the way you like to do it? And that lit him the fuck up. And he got started the next day. So you see, you're doing the same thing, but from a different perspective, and it changes the whole meaning of it. So also I wanted to add that not everyone is going to be cut out for doing your own business. You may want to work in organizations where there's people driving the direction and you love doing what you love doing. Even in 5D New Earth, there's going to be many businesses, there's going to be many organizations that are going to need multiple skill sets. So always look at all of your options and say, which excites me the best? And you have to know first what you want. You have to know your list of your soul's wants. Your higher self wants you to dream big. Like if you think your only options are Reiki or going to business school, then you're not imagining enough. Your imagination needs to be like bigger than you can even comprehend. Like you could say, my dream life, like put all your wish list on your board, make another board and say, this is my dream life. I want to travel. I want to have an exciting career. I want to meet very high vibrational people. I want to appear in front of crowds or not. I want to be in my private silo and I want to be creative this way. So whatever excites you, it doesn't, one size fits all is not the case here. It can be anything that you desire. And your conscious mind cannot even comprehend how you're going to get there, but put it out anyway, because your higher self always finds a way to make the impossible possible.
Okay, I'm smiling because as he was speaking, I got the best idea. Yesterday, Liara said to me that Sunday, I believe it's a Sunday, August 28th, is a new moon. What if we had our very first New Earth Mystery School rendezvous as a new moon party?
I love that.
And we do a new moon full-fledged. We bring in the ascended masters, we bring in the angels, we bring in your guides. I'm just thinking of this very tangibly right now, because as you were speaking, that's like the logical. And we do we do a full-fledged session, but because you're in the quantum field, we will guide you, we will set intentions, we'll bring in our 5D community, we'll talk about all of this, because new moon is a very good time to sow seeds, to sow the seeds of what we're bringing in. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Siman and I are so happy to announce that we just launched the New Earth Mystery School. We are so excited because the New Earth Mystery School, as many of you might already know, is a combination of all of our guides, the Order of Melchizedek, Metatron, Isis, the two of us. We're all putting together. And also we're starting to work with some master crystal healers like Lord Lanto. We're starting to work with Merlin. Who else has come to us recently? Metatron. Anyone else?
Isis.
Sanat Kumara. We've been working with a few people based on what's important. Yeshua, of course, is our main guide, one of our main guides. But what we do at the New Earth Mystery School is that we have memberships. We have a gold membership and we have a silver membership. And every single month we meet 2 to 3 times like this, but it's more for members only. It's going to be premium content. And what I mean by that is we're going to go into these ceremonies. We offer so much premium content for free on our YouTube channels. So for whatever reason, if you can afford it, or you can become a part of the mystery school, or you don't think it's important, just watch our YouTube. We're giving you more than most people give on their YouTube channels. And we're giving you so much for free. But if you feel like, hey, I want to take my game to the next level, I can't get enough of this, I want to take my game to the next level, I can tell you the New Earth Mystery School is not just the next step, but it's like the next 10 steps, because we're going to be going every single month. With silvers, we're going to be meeting twice a month. With golds, in total, we're going to be meeting 3 times a month. The only difference between the silver and the gold is that silvers get things like the new moon intention setting in the quantum field with the Ascension guides, and the guides will be channeling messages from your guides to silvers. We'll also be doing live Ascension coaching. What that means is we'll bring you on screen on Zoom. We'll just pick a random person and we'll say, okay, talk about your ascension problems. And we'll go deep with the coaching. We give you mastery level coaching because we are like ascension master teachers. In addition, what else? So the silvers get all of this. Now the golds really get the signature Metatronic healing that we are masters of, like our healing modality. And we're actually going to be adding a lot more of crystal technology in our healing. We're actually going to be starting this is for next year. I visioned this for 1 year before I said I'll do it. And now I've said I'll do it. So Lord Lanto, who's an Atlantean master, and other masters who are very adept with crystal technology have now started contacting us, have started like saying, okay, you guys are interested now, let's move things forward. We've said we need a CEO, we need someone to come and join our team with crystal technology. So if any of you are solid experts with like tons of experience and you know of these things, write to us at info@houseofra.com, info@EldoRaSiman.love. Both of them work. On our websites, you'll see all of it. But anyway, back to the mystery school. Our healing modality is given to the gold members only. We'll be doing one channeled group healing every single month. And every single month, we're going to be doing something different. So for example, we may work on your spine 1 month. We may remove all your implants in your spine and we may raise your Kundalini. Now remember, we can't just raise your Kundalini. Only you can raise your Kundalini when you are ready. We remove implants. We open up chakras. We have higher, who knows what's going to come. I'm just saying that our healing modality is extremely powerful. If we were to charge someone for a one-on-one session, we would be charging $14.44 for an hour. Yes, USD. If we were to charge someone to come spend a whole day with us to get our coaching and our Metatronic healing, this is a package that we will be putting up later when we have time for it. It'll be $14,444. So we don't play small because we know our value. We know who we are. We know what we can do for you. And most importantly, we only like to work with serious students of the Ascension. We don't want to be a McDonald's where you just drive in and say, hey, give us a healing. No, we have to know that you are on your ascension. And even this $14,444, if you're someone who's not really on your ascension path and you apply for it, we'll turn you down. We don't want to just come and spend a day with you to have lunch and be flown in your private jet. We are here to activate the leaders of tomorrow. And that is where we are starting. But we didn't want to start with the 14,440 offering, which I know right now we'll have a demand for. Right now, we want to work with the masses, because when we connect with our heart, we want to work with you guys. We want to make it as affordable as possible for you guys to join these kind of mystery schools, to have membership. We've kept it so cheap, $44 for silver, $88 for gold. That's like, when you think of the value, it's priceless. It's priceless. Why are we doing this? Because we genuinely have been shown the visions that we are the ascending tribes. We have work to do. So I invite you all to check it out. I highly invite you all to register. Gold is the way to go, especially because the healings are priceless. If you came to us, I'm telling you, I just gave you my pricing for a day or for an hour, so you can see what you're getting. And my only intention is to activate the crap out of you. Seriously, like, Siman and I are doing this for you. We can do a million other things to make money. And I'm serious. We have real estate. We have assets. We can do a million other things. But we are not only catering to those who can pay us $14,444. And that is why we have launched this mystery school, because our intention is extremely pure. We want to help everybody ascend. And we need to do it in a format of the mystery school. And here's one of the best features of the mystery school. You guys will love this. Oh, before I get into the features, anyone who joins before September 1st, anyone who joins our mystery school, whether it's gold or silver, before September 1st, silvers get the free psychic protection whole 6 modules, which we've taught, which is the essentials to even enter the mystery school. Because if you don't know how to protect yourself when someone's yelling, screaming, and psychic protection, you're kind of like compromised. So psychic protection is going to be free. It's a $222 value. And for silvers, and anyone who joins gold before September 1st is going to also receive the psychic protection and the Merlin activation.
No, the cord cutting.
Sorry, and the cord cutting. Thank you. And what was I saying initially? I was going to say something super important. Oh, yes. The most fun part of this NEMS, we call it NEMS, the New Earth Mystery School. So New Earth Mystery School is NEMS, okay? NEMS, it's easier.
And it's at EldoRaSiman.love.
Yes, so the website to check it out is www.EldoRaSiman.love. Here's the best part, guys. And thank you, Liara. Huge shout out to Liara for this, because she thought of a way where we could have a private Discord community, which is literally like a private chat group where all of us can commune. And it is already so amazing. I just went yesterday on Discord and people are chatting. They're
putting selfies.
It's like, and they're talking. And we also have a tab for 5D business workspace. So people are sharing. I'm a psychic. I'm a healer.
And there's a room where you can have video chats with the whole group.
Yes.
So check that out too.
So we're really, hi, Liara, you're here. I'm so happy to see you here. So we are really, there's so much going to come out of this mystery school. And even our guides yesterday were applauding us. They're saying, you're not even charging people for Discord because of how pure your intention is. And guys, this is another self-sabotaging tip. When your intention's not pure, you're sabotaging yourself.
Yeah.
Because your business will only be able to flourish in these energies. I repeat, in the current energies, in the current times, we are entering the age of Aquarius. Your business, your offering will only be allowed to flourish if it is aligned to the divine will, if it is aligned to the service to the collective, if its foundation is giving, if its foundation is serving, if its foundation is, I want the best for others as well as myself, not just for myself. So anyway, check it out, EldoRaSiman.love. And August 28th, we're setting intentions. If this is a good idea.
That's when new moon is?
I think so.
Okay.
So I think it's somewhere, then we'll announce it, but we can do our first event on that day.
That would be awesome.
So back to the steps. Did we complete it? I have all the steps.
Yeah. And what you just said, I just wanted to tie it back to our intention when we were starting this business. We didn't even think of this as a business.
Yeah.
We thought of this as a hobby, and we were just following our passion one step after the next. We never
like the best. We have
Exactly.
so much fun. Like we have the best job in the world.
Making a YouTube channel would actually turn into an income for us.
Oh.
Like this is only a 2-year-old channel. And we started with the only intention, one and only intention was to serve the collective.
Yeah.
And that purity is what brought all the guidance, all the support from the universe to back us up. And also when we were thinking of different models of doing things, we didn't think what will be the most lucrative money-wise, because money is just energy. When you go to 5D consciousness, you don't think what more luxuries can I accumulate in my backyard? Like, you think, what gives me more excitement? Because I'm not here to collect more things. I'm here to have the richest experience of my life. So we don't think like I'm going to be flown all over the world to like rich CEOs and only counsel them for like lots of dollars, which would be great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that
Right.
if that's what you want to do. But for us, what brings us joy is to see humanity ascend. When both of us really connect with our souls, why there's only one why, and we are here to help humanity ascend. And every single decision is based on top of that, layer by layer. So you also have to do that process where you completely empty yourself and start with your very foundation, because the direction of your why will determine the whole direction of your project. If your why is off, then your whole project will eventually like topple. So go deep with this and take your
I
time.
love that. Like, if our intention with our YouTube channel was to become famous or to make money, which is all fine, there's no issue with that. But if that's the only intention, we would have been held back by the divine. Our guides would not have been giving us this much
Yeah, these
power and
powerful
authority.
guides and angels don't just help you if you want to amass more wealth and control. Then you're off on your own. But at the same time, you also have to realize that it's a mutual give and take relationship, because when you serve the divine makes sure that you're taken care of. But there's a caveat to that. If you have a problem asking for an income, if you have a problem receiving an income, if you have a problem receiving a monetary exchange for what you're offering, and you're saying, I'm just going to serve the divine, but I'm not going to ask for anything, then you're also going against the universal laws. The universal law of compensation, these are all
Yes.
laws of one. So the universal
Yes.
law of compensation dictates that we are supposed to be compensated for everything we receive, and we are supposed to compensate everyone for anything they give us.
And it's an energy exchange. When we say
Everything is
compensation, it's
an
not just
energy
money.
exchange. Yeah, exactly. For example, I could ask one of my friends for help with a website, and he would just fix it and not mention it. But what would happen in that scenario if he doesn't mention it and doesn't ask me for any remuneration? It becomes my integrity to offer him, hey dude, can I at least like buy you lunch, like you spent a whole day fixing my website. That becomes your integrity. So you give.
And we wouldn't even fixing, yeah.
Yeah.
And if someone builds you a website, don't offer them just a lunch. Like, make
Yeah,
your
I mean,
make your
it has to be worth it.
always be more generous
Exactly.
by your standards. So let's say somebody comes and says, hey, I want to be paid $20,000 for this, but you think the value of that is 5,000. Then you say, okay, you always follow your template, not theirs. But anyway,
Exactly. And don't have problems receiving from
we
others.
covered
Whatever you offer, you have
yes.
to receive.
So guys, we've covered a lot and we're already at 1.5 hours. What the hell? So let's finish up those steps. We talked about the sticky notes. We talked about the meditation. We talk about, does it still excite you? And then after it, you get it from your heart saying, oh, I can see myself doing this. I can see myself doing this business after so many days. Like, I can see myself starting the crystal line. I can see myself starting the ascension line. And then only then you go ahead. What else? And also have a and if you feel some protector parts of yourself, and if you guys don't know what protector parts is, start from the beginning of the video. We talked about it. If you see that these traumatized protective parts of yourself say, no, don't do it, no, don't do it, then you have a conversation with yourself and you bring those parts in front of you. This is another step. And you say, and when you watch it again, you can make notes, step 1, step 2, step 3, because we're giving you the steps to any successful business. Like, you can just launch it with these steps. Then you say, okay, why shouldn't I do it? Why do you think this is not a good idea? And then you go to the root cause and you see which is aligned to your soul and which is just a fear creeping up. It could be as something as simple as, oh, don't go to this job. Don't go, don't go, don't go. And then when you say, hey, why shouldn't I get this job? And you talk to yourself, it might just be a lame answer like, what if you get fired? And guys, I have another example. So one of our other persons, a soul sister of mine, Ariel, you guys know her, Ariel. I shouldn't have said her name, but I said it anyway. I don't like taking names when I give examples, but I love Ariel. She loves me. So recently what happened was she came to England. this is a very good example. And thank you, Ariel, because I'm going to use this. And I know you will support me with this decision to use this example. So Ariel's been working with us for about 6 or 7 months now, diehard warrior, guardian, supporter of EldoRa Siman. She didn't come to Tulum, to our New Earth Music Festival in Tulum. She didn't come. This is, again, I'm talking about self-sabotage here. This is a very big example. And this is so prevalent right now. This is so important. She didn't come to Tulum because she has a baby and she has kids and whatever. And I said to her, you need to come to Tulum because the whole office of Christ is coming. And if you don't come, you'll go out of vibration. You may go out of vibration. Come. And she said, no, my baby is young, whatever. She didn't come. Her baby is what, a year old, I think, or 2 years old.
I think, yeah.
A year or two, I don't remember.
Yeah.
So we said, fine. So all the OC came. When we went back, we realized, oh my God, we've just quantum jumped energetically. And Ariel we started seeing that she was left behind. We started seeing that her vibration was off. So we said, okay, we need to, when we go to Glastonbury, Ariel, you have to come and we'll just upgrade you in Glastonbury so you're back with us. She said, fine, I'm bringing my baby. First she said, I'm bringing my whole family. And I'm like, no. First of all, you have to come alone. And she's like, it's impossible. And I said, no, it's not impossible. You have to come alone. If not, you're going to go out of vibration. So she came. She said, I have to come with my baby. I said, that's fine. Baby is okay. Not your husband and everything. You have to live in the office of Christ house with everyone else. So you align the vibration. Now, when she came, it was very obvious that she's using her children. This is very important, you guys. Many of you mothers are going to relate. Many of us mothers, what's happening is you guys use your children as a crutch to feel good about yourselves. You use your children and how much your children depend on you as a crutch to feel worthy, to feel like you're doing enough. You feel like you have nothing else going good for you in this world but your children. So you hold on to them for dear life. And in galactic societies, people don't hold on to their children. They let their children free. Because the highest form of unconditional love is not control. The highest form of unconditional love is to say, I love you and I want you to have all the experiences, not just being clingy to me. I want you to go on camp. I want you to go camping. I want you to have all the experiences that are going to give you the life skills to be who you are. So anyway, when all our OC came to Glastonbury, Siman and I gave every single one of them their next curriculum. We said, okay, in your case, these are the issues you have to fix. And OC are master students of the Ascension. That's all they want. They just want to ascend. And that's their only goal. And they love us. So when we tell them something, they follow it to the T. They can't sleep if they don't follow our guidance. That's how strong, obsessed they are. And that's how they should be, because we're all in it for the Ascension. So what happened with Ariel was we told her that you need to now start detaching from your children. And we didn't say that means you go away and leave them somewhere. And this is for all of you mothers. All we said was bring balance. If you work for 5 days with OC and 2 days with the children, where's any self-love time? So we said maybe you can work 4 days with the OC, 2 days with the children, and 1 day you do nothing. You just have time on your own. That's what we meant. But now let's go back to our diagram. Remember what we said in the beginning? When there's trauma, one side becomes the victim. The other side becomes the protector. So what happens? Ariel looked at me in the eye and she said, done, EldoRa. When I go back, I'm going to detach from my children. You are absolutely right. She saw it because she was with us. She was in our vortex. So she was in a high vibration. She went home and this protector side kicked in, which is the split of, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, go back and watch in the beginning. We explained this. What happens when trauma is that the soul fragments. So in Ariel's case, the protector side, and she doesn't know any of this in this detail. So when you watch Ariel, this is like a coaching for you, but because of you, many others are going to get it. And I know that you're okay with it. So this protector side says, what? EldoRa, I love EldoRa, but now EldoRa is getting a bit too much. EldoRa wants to take me away from my children. What? No. This is not right. This is not right. So all these thoughts start coming and it jumbles up the real equation. Instead of saying, oh my God, all of this is a result of my trauma. What are her traumas, Siman? Like, what is the trauma?
Well, in this case, I'm not saying this is
No, I'm just
true for this case,
not,
but
yeah.
an example could be of why someone would behave this way is that if they did not get enough love in their childhood,
Right.
then they want to receive the love from their children by having a very close relationship with their children. There's nothing wrong with that. But also, if you create an over dependency because of your own imbalance, then you're also passing on that imbalance to your children. So if you are like bringing your children so close to you that they don't have room to explore the world on their own, later on in life, many of us who've suffered from this kind of parenting, of overindulgent parenting, later on in life, we're not capable of taking risks anymore because we've always been told that it's safe in mama's lap, it's safe in daddy's lap, whatever have you. But children need to be able to navigate the world on their own. So when they start, as soon as they start walking, they start challenging parents' ideals. They say, no, I'm not supposed to run on the road, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know you're going to catch me, but I'm also going to find out what that experience is like. So if you're constantly robbing your children of these experiences where they can explore, where they can fall, where they can get hurt, where they can sometimes make the wrong choices without threatening their life or without threatening injury or bodily harm, then they should be allowed to make those choices for themselves, because we want to instill at a very young age in our children that it's okay to venture out on your own, because that's what forms the whole foundation.
It's okay to fall down. It's okay to get boo-boos. It's okay.
It's okay to take risks in
It's
life.
okay to eat
Otherwise,
ice cream.
we become risk averse.
Yes. And I love that. And you know what happened with this person in this example is when she went back from England, her working style changed, her insecurity took over, and she doesn't know all of this. But what happens is the insecurity is, I'm going to lose my job, I'm going to lose my children. It becomes a mess because all these self-sabotaging paths are going inside of you. If you didn't have this trauma, what would happen? Clean slate. What would happen? More self-love time. EldoRa's right. More self-love. Detach a bit from the kids. Make them less dependent on me. Ask EldoRa and Siman, can I just work 4 days? Of course, we would say yes. And then, you get more free time. So your whole landscape of your life changes. But what happened in this case is that it got so intense for her because this protector mode drove her crazy. This protector mode. And in the end, we decided that the soul contract has ended, at least of us working together, and we parted ways, because OC specifically is only for people who are fully, and I mean 100% in their ascension. If you're not 100% in your ascension, if you don't look at us as your teachers and your guides, and if you look at we channel directly, we say to you, your curriculum is this. If you look at us thinking, I don't want them to give me advice and whatever, it won't work, because OC is only in it for the ascension. And so Ariel and us parted ways recently, which was, again, the Lionsgate energy created that rift.
But we still partied on a very high
Very
note.
high. And she's coming to
And
Croatia. You'll all meet
all
her.
the good times that we had together.
Yes, and she's the one who booked my haircut as my parting gift. We're in very, very good terms. And you know what? She's gonna, I told her, I said, listen, in a year, rest for a year, you can start a business, make some plant products, or she makes oat milk. So anyway, I just wanted to say, I hope these examples helped, guys. Do you guys have any questions, or was that really, really clear? And we'll go more into it. In our mystery school, we're planning to go deep. We're going to go into actually doing the curriculum.
I just want to read out this list before we end.
Yes, please do.
Need for perfection.
These are all the self-sabotage
programs. So pay attention to these.
Yes.
Need for perfection. We're not going to go deep, but just list them out. Indecisiveness, negative self-talk, imposter syndrome. That's a big one. We'll do a video on that someday. Over-promising, under-delivering, being lazy, being inauthentic. If you're triggered by someone and you're just hiding it and you're not speaking your truth, because if you're not able to have difficult conversations, you're inauthentic. Just speak what's in your heart. That's what authenticity means. I don't have the skills to get what I need done. So learn them. You're supposed to grow all the time. Fear of failure, fear of success. That's very self-explanatory. Holding grudges. Sometimes we start holding grudges against people to self-sabotage ourselves. You may not like your job because you're lazy, but you may hold a grudge against your boss to create the story that my boss is an asshole.
So powerful. Say that again. That's so
powerful. You may not
powerful.
like your job because you're lazy, but you may create a story in your mind that my boss is an asshole, and start projecting on him. So holding grudges, pay attention to, these are all ego games. If you're holding grudges against your partner, against your boss, against your loved ones, then your ego is fully in control and you are being played. You need to be aware of all aspects of yourself and why you're behaving this way.
And when he's talking, I have to give you this example, and he'll get back to his list. When I was young, my father always, it's a really silly example. He would always say to me, you don't dig your nose in public. If you have to get something out of your nose, you dig it in the bathroom, right? You go and you find your gold in the bathroom. You don't just like start digging your nose, right? So as he's saying this is very funny. What I'm getting is, you know how you could at least go to the bathroom and dig your nose and nobody would see? And you can do all the crazy things in the bathroom. In your ascension journey, there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
You have, whether you like are inauthentic inside the bathroom or inside the bedroom or in your bathtub, you can't hide. If you're inauthentic, if you're lazy, there's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame on it. But your guides, including Siman and me, who are also your guides, we are your earth guides, your guides, us, all of us, your angels, your team, we're only pushing you and pushing ourselves because we're here to ascend. Laziness is not serving us. Inauthenticity is not serving you. Lack of integrity is not serving you. So when you start looking at it like, oh my God, why am I self-sabotaging myself like this? Why am I doing this to myself? That's when you bring all parts within you into complete harmony, where there's no opposites pulling each other. One's going this way, one's going that way. It's not like that. Then finally, that's the state that you call samadhi, where you feel like, oh my God, my life is finally harmonious in all aspects. And that's where Siman and I are right now. And that is our biggest dream, to get you all here. And it's possible. It's step by step, but you guys are doing great. We're going great, guys. We are ahead of curriculum. I told you this in the Lionsgate ceremony. The guides congratulated our soul family and said, you are on point and you are slightly ahead of curriculum. So well done. Go ahead, baby.
And I have 3 more points. After holding grudges, ungratitude is a big one, guys. Gratitude is a video of its own. Procrastination is a big one for light workers. We keep putting things off, so be aware of that. And disorganization. We have to be organized in our lives in 3D, and we're always striving to get all aspects of our lives organized, even if we have to go backwards a few steps sometimes. In our business right now, the biggest thing we're doing is putting everything in pause in our Office of Christ, in our organization. We're putting the spotlight on every aspect of our organization and cleaning things up, because organization is the foundation of everything. If you have a cluttered desk and if you have hundreds of notes scattered over the room, then you're probably not very focused in where you're going. So hope.
Let's end at 1:44. We have another minute and a half to kill.
Okay, I'm going to take a washroom break.
Oh my God, no. We'll end at 1:44. How fun is that?
Fine.
Oh my God. What else, guys? So
any questions?
This was amazing, right? So we'll do questions in the mystery school. We'll bring you on screen and we'll answer your questions.
We actually were getting an idea for a workshop for our members where we go deeper into why we sabotage ourselves. So
fine. You guys are so cute. Oh my God. Before we go, I have the best news. We land in Croatia on sometime in the first week of October.
40 seconds to finish.
And Sistara and Merlin and maybe even Nicole, we're telling Nicole, aka the children, we consider them all our children, and they work in the Office of Christ. And it's crazy how they all came into our vortex through work, but we're connected as a soul. They're going to land in 15 or 20 days before us. So when we land in Croatia, we'll have our house, and right by our house, we'll have these 3 guys in their own house. And they'll come over for sleepovers. We're going to have fun. We might even start the reality show. Who knows what's going to happen? But we're so excited that finally, why am I talking fast? We can go over 144. Finally, it's my channel. Why should I, And they're going to, and guys, yesterday we thought about it in the night. We didn't realize. We thought we were going to meet them like in December before the festival in Croatia. And I said, oh my God, we land in it's already August 14th. We leave this house September 14th. I don't know where we'll go for 2 weeks. Then that main house we've chosen, it's a 5-bedroom mansion in Croatia. overlooking the ocean. And then these guys will have their own home, but weekends they'll probably crash with us. And that's how we form our 5D communities, guys. This is happening. And then in January, let's say we travel to Thailand after the festival. I said, you guys can go and rent a place right by our house in Thailand. So this is how we start our community. This is how we, and I'm going to stop the recording anytime now. I love you guys. I love you guys.